love the filth. This is Kiss and Don't Tell by Meghan Quinn. It's actually my first Meghan Quinn book, and I listened to it as an audiobook. I really enjoy duet style, and for some reason, someone had this whole series as duet style. It's not. This is dual point of view, and I have since learned that later books in this series are duet style. So I think I might have to stick with the audiobooks for now. We got a hockey book boyfriend. The whole series is about hockey players. And in this situation, they are in Banff off season, enjoying their time. Winnie drives off the road and shows up at their house because her car has gotten stuck in the mud. So she's shown up at this house with 5 hockey player dudes and just her. And one of them, Pacey, takes a shine to her right away. That's this book. It's Pacey and Winnie. I enjoyed this story. It's a very light story. Their banter is fun. The situations they get themselves in are cute. They play Jenga with questions on it. I have no idea if the bros, the hockey team in this series, is anything like men in real life, or because, I'm not around men when they're not around women. But I hope so. That would just make me so happy if that is how men existed around each other. Pacey and Winnie have an instant chemistry. Pacey is incredibly attracted to her. Winnie finds him intriguing, and she's keeping her distance because of life stuff. Her mother has recently passed, and she's kind of figuring out what she wants to do with her life. There's this weird side plot about why she's in Banff. It doesn't honestly matter at all. Pacey, when he meets her, is not only attracted to her, but he has this sense that he knows her. And it turns out that she is his half-brother's ex, a half-brother he has a terrible relationship with, which adds a layer of complication to their relationship and a big reveal moment toward the end. This is where audiobooks get me. I try my best to remember the details, like the Jenga, like the picnic, pushing the car into the mud even more. But it's hard for me to really hold on to details when I'm listening. And that's a me thing. It's something that I'm working on, but I don't want to give up on this medium. They're so good. While I'm picky about my audiobooks because I'm a picky person, I love that audiobooks are available, that there are actors who are bringing these characters to life, that it supports people who have different styles of taking in information. I don't want to give up. I've tried tandem reading in the past. The challenge with tandem reading for me is that I read a page way faster than they're acting it out. And so sometimes what I'll notice is my eyes will start to read and I tune out the audiobook and I'm a page or two ahead. I might try that though with the next book in this series just because the banter is good. And honestly, the spice spiced way harder than I thought it would. While Pacey did flirt and did express attraction, I was not ready for the dirty talk that appeared once they crossed that line. I wasn't mad about it. I love some dirty talk. Jason Clarke can talk dirty to me all the time. I am sorry, Jason Clarke, the actor, read something dirty to me. You as a human, I respect you as a person, and not in a creepy way. I promise. But I just was not expecting the absolute filth that this book would turn into once they crossed that line. I liked it. You know me, y'all. I like it. If you're someone who likes a hockey book boyfriend without any hockey in it whatsoever, this is also going to be a good choice for you. No one plays hockey at all. You don't have to worry about knowing anything about hockey. So if you're looking to delve into the hockey romance novel world without being overwhelmed by hockey, this would be a good choice for you. Pants feelings. I love that. I love this series. For Never and Always by Helena Greer, I read Season of Love, which is, if you might remember, the book that caused me no end of technical difficulties. But this is book 2 out of 3, probably 4. 3 are out. And this story is about Levi and Hannah, who is Miriam's cousin from the first book and best friend. Levi and Hannah I'm going to ruin something for you. I'm not going to ruin it for you because you do find out in the first couple chapters, but I'm going to ruin it for you. They are married. They're not just dating. They secretly got married. And I don't know what it is, but a marriage in crisis hits so much harder than just a regular second chance. If you read Seasons of Love, you might remember that at the end of that story, or toward the end of that story, Hannah sends Cole, Miriam's best friend, to go get Levi from Australia, where he's been filming a cooking show. He's a chef. Levi comes back and he is determined to reconcile with Hannah. He has lived without her for years and he has no desire to do that again. So he is here to fix their marriage. They're totally still married. They haven't filed any paper whatsoever. They are just married. Just married. Anyway, Levi shows up. They're also in forced proximity because they are both at Kerrigan's Christmas. They are there for Passover and this huge wedding, which Levi ends up catering. If you didn't know, this story takes place, yes, at a Christmas farm, but it is run by a Jewish family. So everything in their life revolves around the Jewish holidays. They make mention of the high holy days, the minor holidays, the feast days. It's so interesting to hear a story that revolves around different holidays than the ones that we typically see. It was very exciting. When Levi arrives, he declares his intention to fix their marriage and challenges Hannah to 5 dates with him to prove that he's changed, that they've grown, and they can make it work. And honestly, my favorite thing is that at the end of all of this, he proposes a 6th date to a marriage counselor. It's because over the course of this story, over the course of not just these dates, but the events that have been happening at the inn that they've been working together on, he realizes, no, we can't do this on our own. We need help. We need professional help. We need the support system that we didn't give ourselves before. And Levi really held himself back from the support system he had at Kerrigan's for a number of reasons. He felt like an outcast. He felt like he didn't belong. His relationship with Cass, the former matriarch of the inn, was really complicated. And they got married in secret. No one knew they were married. That type of commitment requires a different type of support system than someone who's just dating. It's weird to say, but it does. When you're dating, mistakes can happen that when you're married, they really can't. It takes a lot more. We also learn that Levi is demisexual. The only person he's ever experienced sexual attraction for is Hannah. And I understand that demi, gray, ace is a very big spectrum. So for Levi, he experiences sexual attraction for Hannah and Hannah only, the one person he's found a deep connection to. He also is pansexual. He doesn't really care about the gender. Like I said, the only person he's ever been attracted to is Hannah. And he says to her, if you transitioned, I'd still love you. I'd still want you because I want you, the person, and not your gender. Oh, I loved it. Well, the story is a love story about 2 people reconnecting with each other. More importantly, it's about 2 people making sure that they individually are the best version of themselves, have worked through the issues that held them back, that they don't want to bring into this next phase of their relationship. They push against the boundaries and the beliefs that they've held about themselves and about what they're capable of in order to build a more harmonious relationship with the other. And that was really exciting and beautiful to watch. Y'all, I do have to disappoint you. It's still fucking fade to black. It upsets me. It upsets me to no end. However, Helena Greer did mention that the 3rd book is probably the spiciest she's written. I mean, it doesn't take much to be spicier than this. It just has to happen on page. But let's see what happens in that 3rd book. I really adored this story. I really adore this world. This cast of characters is fun and exciting to me, and I want to keep going with them. I hope you do too. And then a book comes out that messes with your entire TBR. That for me was X's and O's by Kayla Grosse. I read Trick Shot of Kayla Grosse's earlier this year, and all the spice. It's also an MMF spice, which y'all know is my favorite. I couldn't resist it. It's a lumberjack MMF novella. It's so good. Nathan just quit his job and is driving up into the mountains to visit his sister and his mother for Christmas, and his car falls in a ditch. He almost dies and is rescued by two loggers. But let's be real, it's a lumberjack, a lumberjill, or a lumberbell, depending on what phrase you use. They call themselves loggers, so I'm gonna call them loggers. They are Fox and Morgan. They are a married couple. They really do take care of him. They take him in from the cold. He is almost dying of hypothermia. They care for him. They make him warm. They put him in the guest room. They make sure he is safe. And then he wakes up and he's snowed into their cabin with no electricity, no internet, no nothing. Not the point. The point is he's snowed in with them. They have been looking for a third. They're polyamorous. They've had partners in the past. They felt like no one will put up with them. No one will be the right fit for them until they meet Nathan. Fox initially has a really good feeling about him. Morgan eventually comes on board. Fox leaves the door open to their bedroom while they bone. Kinky boning. Lots of kinky boning. Oh my gosh, so much kink. I need to read more of her stuff because, woo, oh friend, oh, you and I are going to be friends. I hope so. Please be friends with me. Nathan sees what's going on behind door number 1 and is legitimately freaked out, but also intrigued. Fox and Morgan offer some fun playtime with Nathan, who takes them up on it, and they enjoy each other's company in not small doses. It's not 0 to 60. It's an intimate moment in the sauna. Let's talk about it. It's, oh my gosh, it's so much. It's so spicy. It's not just spice. Like, that's the thing. That is the thing about Trick Shot and X's and O's for me, is while it is so spicy, it's also really human, and I'm rooting for these characters. I'm excited by these characters. I want to meet them. I want to connect with them. I want to watch them connect with each other. They do. Fox and Morgan's relationship is beautiful. It's heartbreaking and heart building, and Nathan is on his own journey, and Fox and Morgan open him up in a way that he wasn't expecting, and it's so great to see. It's so empowering to watch this dynamic build. There's a bit of a third act something. It's not even a breakup, y'all. It's so quick that you know it's gonna get resolved in a page or two. There is some primal, there's a lot of schminky times, and if you're looking for a spicy novella that's also gonna have heart with it, I think this is a great choice. Both this and Trick Shot were just A+ for me. These stories both contain plus-sized FMCs and other body types for the MMCs, which I like. If we want representation for the women in our romance novels, we should also demand representation for the men in our romance novels. All bodies are beautiful. I might have to go into her back catalog to see what I've missed. If you know her back catalog really well and you know of other MMFs that she's written, sorry, I have a type. Please put them in the comments so I know what to click on first. I got hooked. I just can't stop. I read King of Greed by Anna Huang, and I found every other story I'm enjoying, and we hit it. Literally every other story I enjoy. It's just like clockwork. It is a marriage in crisis story. It is about Dominic and Alessandra. I ate it up. There's something really impactful about getting things wrong in a marriage and understanding that both sides contributed to the breakdown. Their marriage was broken. Really. And you saw it in the last book, King of Pride. Alessandra and Dominic are not on the same page, and she is drowning. She is grieving. She is so unhappy. And it gets to the point where she just breaks, the final straw that broke the camel's back, and she demands a divorce from Dominic, who is very reluctant to give it to her. He loves her. He can't imagine his life without her. Why on earth would he sign divorce papers? But ultimately decides that the thing that she needs is space from him, and then steps up to prove himself to her. This is a story about two people who lost their way, both of them. They lose their way from each other. Ollie lets herself go. She lets go of her ambition. She lets go of her friends. She gives herself completely over to Dominic, who is not in a good state of mind. He doesn't know how to balance. He doesn't know how to separate himself from his ambition. And she goes along for the ride without demanding anything else. She doesn't demand his time. There are no consequences to his actions before this. And so for Dominic, it's a complete shock when she goes, "We're getting a divorce." And quite honestly, it should be a shock. Ollie, you didn't say anything beforehand. You didn't tell him how unhappy you were. You didn't say that you wanted more time. You didn't do any of those things that a good communicative couple would have done. And that's the thing. Like, is Ollie in the wrong? No, she's not technically doing anything wrong. She's not ignoring her husband, but she's not being a good partner. She's not being the kind of partner that she should have been for Dom. Now, Dom was doing pretty much everything wrong. So I will say that he gets no points. He gets no brownie points of his behavior before the events of this book. None whatsoever. But he gets a lot of points for the way that he behaves afterwards. When Ollie leaves him, he realizes that nothing in his life is important as her. And so things that he thought he could never do, take time off work, not take that next deal, let his clients go, not be at the beck and call of everyone in the financial world to make that next chunk of change, he sees that it's not as valuable as spending time with Ollie, giving her what she wants and needs and building the relationship back up. So yes, they get divorced. I was fucking floored when that happened. I agree with Anna Huang. That was the right turn of events. That was the thing that needed to happen for both of them to have space and choose each other again. They also are so hot for each other, but understand that intimacy is not the way to fix this whatsoever. I was waiting for some crazy to happen, and it did at the end. Y'all, it's whatever. The core of the story really was Ollie and Dom, and that's what I enjoyed. Characters from the rest of the Kings of Sin series do come into play. They are here, but we also see some of the people from the Twisted series. Jules and Josh show up. Some other people are mentioned. It really is fun to see these two series intersect and have these characters show up in each other's stories. And this is why I will not stop with Anna Huang, because even when there are books that I find to be duds, the next one usually hooks me. So you've hooked me again. I loved it, and I guess I need to see what happens next. Sometimes your friend writes a book, and then you get that book, and you read that book, and it's so exciting. The book is Come Here to Me. It's up there because this is backwards for you. First of all, you should go listen to my interview of Sabrina Burns, which was the podcast episode last week. So pause or watch this and then go listen to us talk about romance and writing and all of that fun stuff. But I was so excited. It's honestly the first time I've known someone before they were a romance writer and then gotten to read their book. So, just all the giggly feelings. It's not a love triangle. I know it says love triangle, but I think love triangles when two people are pursuing. It's not that. We have our lovely Emma, who is a grad student at University of Chicago in English. And she's just struggling. She's on the fucking struggle bus with life. She's got a boyfriend that she's coasting with. Then she meets Declan, this amazing, tall, Irish PhD student, and her entire world is now in color. That's really what it felt like to me, is the moment when you meet your person and the world shifts. And there was a before, and now there is an after. There is a now. And the sky is brighter, and the birds sing sweetly. Did I mention that she has a boyfriend? His name is Adam. He's a law student. And she just doesn't break up with him. This book, well, yes, a romance. And Declan is so wonderful. I love him so much. I want one. Can I have one? He wouldn't fit in my pocket. He's like 6'5", but I want one. This is really Emma standing up for herself. She's an only child to two professor parents, and she has lived her life to please them. Honestly, the biggest rebellion that she's ever done so far in her life is going to undergrad and graduate school at University of Chicago instead of diversifying and spreading her wings and going somewhere else for her master's. Emma has to learn to stand up for herself, to figure out what she wants and make decisions that support what she wants. Adam is a law student in L3. She's in her last year of her grad program. Their relationship is in stasis. She's not happy, but she's not unhappy. And she's waiting for him to break up with her. The amount of times that I almost threw this book across the room, and I was texting Sabrina, letting her know this. So this is not a secret. She knows, because Emma needs to grow a pair. She does. She does grow a pair. Nice steel set of ovaries got grown over the course of this book. And of course, everything comes to a head. And of course, it all blows up in her face. And I absolutely wrote a note in there that goes, you deserve this, because she's shady. She and Declan meet, and there's this instant chemistry and connection, and they become best friends. And along the way, Emma realizes she has more than best friend feelings for Declan, but she's waiting for Adam to break up with her. And she's not sure how Declan feels, but she doesn't want to lose him. So she doesn't say anything. And she just stays in this fucking limbo that drives me up a wall. It blows up in her face. And in the wreckage of her life, she has to figure out, what does she want? And I will say that she does. I enjoyed the resolution. I loved the Emma that we got to meet by the end of this story. I love Declan. I also love her best friend, Charlie, who's a girl, Charlie, who I think we all need a best friend like Charlie in our lives, someone who will just love us unconditionally. Well, Emma itself wasn't my favorite to be in the head of hers because oh man, there were so many angry notes in this book. Sometimes you have to really mess up in order to build something worthwhile. You gotta start from the ground up. And Emma's foundation was shaky. So when everything toppled to the ground, it meant that she could start fresh, start over, build bigger, and build stronger. So if you want to hear more about the story of Sabrina becoming an author and talking about this book, head to Jace Reads Romance wherever you listen to podcasts and make sure you find that episode.